What's up everybody, I'm Fox at Foxy Games UK, your regular aggregate source of news, rumour and video game discussion. Casual and core gamers interested in the latest gaming news and rumour, with an emphasis on PlayStation but spanning a variety of platforms. Follow me via Twitter at FoxyGames_UK. All relevant links can be found in this video's description. And in our first news segment, Sony has announced a new press conference at Paris Games Week. PlayStation will return to Paris Games Week this year with a new media showcase on October 30th. Sony Interactive Entertainment Europe announced today that the House of PlayStation will revive its European fall media showcases, which will return to Paris Games Week after almost a year of absence. Now, the conference will be hosted on Monday, October 30th at 5 PM local time, which equates to 8 AM Pacific time and 11 AM Eastern. At the moment, all Sony sent is a save the date notice, which means that there is no firm information yet on what they will showcase at the press conference. Now, we might finally get some new info on Dreams by Media Molecule and possibly a more precise release window for some prominent 2018 bound PS4 exclusives like God of War and Spider-Man. It would also be perfect venue really, being in Paris, to announce a release date for Detroit Become Human by Paris-based developer Quantic Dream, which was first revealed at Paris Games Week 2 years ago. As usual, the conference will be hosted before the trade show properly starts, with Paris Games Week opening its gates to the public on November 1st and closing on November 5th. And in other news, shout out to @JDubCity17 aka Kratos, who provided me the link to this latest information regarding the Vega tech and games that are starting to take advantage of it. As extensively reported 5 or 6 months back on this very channel, marked Sony's revelation that PS4 Pro's GPU was packed with future AMD Vega technologies, allowing 8.4 T-flops at 16-bit half floats. After much disbelief and naysaying from the non-believers and other irrelevant life forms, it all seems to have quieted down, well, until yesterday. Multiple reports from media outlets, notable AAA development studios, first party and third, and even Sony themselves have announced this exciting new way of extracting even more performance out of PS4 Pro with AMD's RX Vega Rapid Packed Math technology, which allows developers who use it to close the gap between the PS4 Pro and the soon-to-be released 6 T-flop Xbox One X. Well, my doubtful friends, courtesy of WCCFtech.com. RX Vega's launch is now imminent. Next Monday, AMD's latest high-end series of graphics cards will make its highly anticipated debut, starting from around $399. Its launch and potential success could also have an indirect impact in the ongoing struggles between Sony's PlayStation 4 Pro and Microsoft's upcoming Xbox One X, due to be available in stores from November 7th for a price of $500. RX Vega will introduce for the first time in desktop GPUs the Rapid Packed Math feature. This allows 2 half-float operations, FP16s, to be executed at the same time it would take for 1 full float operation, which is FP32. Here's a quote from an AMD representative. Next-gen compute units, or NCUs, provide supercharged pathways for doubling processing throughput when using 16-bit data types. In cases where a full 32 bits of precision is not necessary to obtain the desired results, they can pack twice as much data into each register and use it to execute 2 parallel operations. Now, this is ideal for a wide range of computationally intensive applications, including image and video processing, ray tracing, artificial intelligence, and game rendering. Just ahead of the PS4 Pro's launch, system architect Mark Cerny had revealed that the console would include a couple of features from AMD's future roadmap. One of these is what AMD is now calling Rapid Packed Math. At the time, Cerny said that it had the potential to radically increase performance. Now, a few AMD roadmap features are appearing for the first time in PS4 Pro. One of the features appearing for the first time is the handling of 16-bit variables. It's possible to perform 2 16-bit operations at a time instead of 1 32-bit operation. In other words, at full floats we have 4.2 teraflops. With half floats it's now double that, which is to say 8.4 teraflops in 16-bit computation. This has the potential to radically increase performance. Talking to other game developers, we also got the same response. Interestingly, Microsoft didn't opt to add this particular feature to their Xbox One X custom design. Perhaps they decided that it was not needed with the extra memory and GPU power. Also, this is a feature that developers would have to put time into researching and implementing, which is something that many third-party developers could choose to skip. However, things got more interesting when AMD revealed last week that Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus and Far Cry 5, two of the most anticipated first-person shooters due in the upcoming months, will support Rapid Packed Math. This is important since the feature now also is available on PC with AMD's RX Vega GPUs. More game developers could be encouraged to use Rapid Packed Math across the board, and PlayStation 4 Pro is in position to take full advantage. It's important to also note that this wouldn't be enough to completely close the performance gap with the Xbox One X, since it's simply too wide and the FP16 operations cannot be used in every instance. Still, it stands to reason that widespread adoption of Rapid Packed Math could help PlayStation 4 Pro versions of multi-platform games get closer to the Xbox One X releases. It's hard to say how much exactly, since the benefits may vary depending on the specific technology used in any given game, but we'll be keeping a close eye on this promising feature as more developers elect to use it. And as if that wasn't enough, here's what Sony themselves have to say. Aside from Far Cry 5 and Wolfenstein 2, 3 new games are highlighted in a new series detailing all the incredible enhancements developers are bringing to their games with the power of PlayStation 4 Pro. Now, our aim is to keep you fully up to date with all the improvements you can expect from the latest releases, covering every detail from increased effects work to pixel counts and performance boosts. Codemasters' officially licensed Formula 1 series, F1 2017, brings with it all the high-octane racing action the series has become known for, along the industry's latest technology advances and a range of brand new features including a 10-year career mode. Launching on the 25th of August, the team has put the pedal to the metal with PS4 Pro hardware, meaning that users will be in for something quite special. Those playing on PS4 Pro will see an enormous boost to image quality with a full 4K output resolution of 3840 x by 2160, achieved through a checkerboard reconstruction technique, meaning that the presentation of every car component and trackside detail will be pristine. This is followed up by full support for high dynamic range HDR that delivers more crisp, true-to-life colors and a brighter, more natural representation of real-world lighting conditions, all delivered at a super smooth 60 frames per second. Now, the team at Codemasters were able to go even further though, explaining, "We found PS4 Pro's built-in enhancements for checkerboard rendering made the technique much more efficient, leaving valuable GPU time to spend on other visual upgrades. As such, players can also look forward to improved environmental reflections, such as those reflected in the car's bodywork and enhanced shadow precision, adding to the game's realistic look and feel." Finally, track shaders also receive an upgrade on PS4 Pro, once again to the clever design of the Pro hardware. As developers explained, packed FP16 ALU operations, which are unique to the PS4 Pro in the console space, offer us a very powerful tool for optimizing shaders, allowing us to enhance CU occupancy and reduce overall instruction counts. For the less tech savvy, this ultimately means that the hardware design naturally lends itself to providing higher quality environment shaders, allowing the team to give tracks a more finely detailed overall appearance. And last but not least though, using a regular full HD display will also benefit from hugely improved image quality thanks to downsampling. This process allows the console to construct a more finely detailed 1080p image from the full 4K render, smoothing jagged edges and refining object and texture detail, particularly at distances. Next up, Agents of Mayhem, which is a third-person open-world adventure that transports you to a futuristic recreation of the South Korean capital of Seoul. PS4 Pro users can look to amp up the chaos a few notches further with a suite of technical improvements that will make Seoul's city of tomorrow truly stand out. First up, maintaining a full HD resolution, textures and scene detail will also receive a huge boost from increased level of detail and 4 times increased anisotropic filtering 4 to 16, refining texture detail and quality, particularly when viewed at sharp angles. This is further bolstered by increased shadow quality that creates more accurate and detailed shadows across the entire scene, and increased texture resolution for particle effects throughout the game, meaning crisper, more satisfying explosions all round. Turning away from pure presentation, you'll also find Seoul an even more lively and happening destination with the additional GPU power of PS4 Pro, allowing an increase in dynamic pedestrians and vehicle counts throughout the city. And there's more. All of this beautiful extra detail will pop with full support for high dynamic range, creating deeper levels of contrast and improving color depth across the whole scene. And one final thing, the overall performance will receive an appreciable boost above the PlayStation 4's 30Hz output, reaching a maximum of 60 frames per second on PS4 Pro. And last but not least, Saint Mora X, a deluxe edition remaster of PS3's side-scrolling shooter Saint Mora. Making the jump to PlayStation 4, it brings with it not only a full English language voice cast and a brand new local co-op mode, but also a few treats for PS4 Pro users. Now the big guns out of the way first. Saint Mora X will increase pixel density fourfold when using PS4 Pro to a fully native 4K, which outputs at a lightning fast 60 frames per second. That means crystal clear detail across the entire scene with buttery smooth controller response. But why stop there? The team have also indicated that due to doubling of the game's normal half-size buffers, players can expect a far superior rendering quality for particle effects, meaning every last whiz, pop and bang will look a whole lot prettier on PS4 Pro. And to top it off, global scoreboards have been implemented for Saint Mora X. All game modes, even local co-op, have their separate boards, so no excuses to not try and beat your friends. Well. After all the naysayers, everybody who just doubted that this Vega technology that Sony had the foresight, the vision, Mark Cerny, to include in the Polaris-based GPU found in the PS4 and PS4 Pro, but for Pro they included technologies which weren't available yet at the time, Vega technologies, which is clearly helping PS4 Pro developers get even more performance out of the console, which can never be a bad thing. Now let's all temper expectations. This is not going to make the PS4 Pro more powerful than the Xbox One X or even on par, but what it will do is allow at least third-party developers who may be struggling to reach parity. This is exactly what they need to help them if they take the time to use the technology. PS4 Pro games should have no problem, particularly in third-party instances, in keeping up and looking just as good as the Xbox One X versions. Does this mean that there's no need to buy an Xbox One X? Of course not. But what it does mean is if you already own a PS4 Pro or are planning on buying one anyway, this can only mean good things. Now I'm going to not take it with a pinch of salt, because Mark Cerny themselves and Sony and even developers have come out now and detailed exactly how this Vega inspired technology found in the PS4 Pro will help developers. But I will be very keen to see Digital Foundry's examination of such technology and how it really does improve PS4 Pro and to what percentage. That I'm looking forward to, and I suppose a lot of you doubters will be too. But let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything PS4 Pro, Vega technology included, and of course Sony being at Paris Games Week this year. And that brings us to the end of another video. Be sure to share your thoughts in the video comments, and as usual, if you found any of the information in this video at all useful, go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe and share the video. You can also help us grow by supporting us via Patreon. Starting from just $1, you'll help us grow, and you can find a link in this video's description. Until next time, play games, not corporations.